About 30% of all postnatal infant mortality in developed countries is due to genetic disease. 30% of pediatric and 10% of adult hospital admissions can be traced to predominantly genetic causes. This is according to Erwin Fridtjof's writing in the Encyclopedia Britannica. These are alarming statistics that we should take into consideration. Genetic disorders affect millions of lives. Genetic therapy, however, has created hope for those that are affected. Genetic therapy is a growing career field dedicated to the wellness of others that can serve as a platform for promoting brotherly love, displaying the complexity of creation, and reflecting the heart of the healer. It's an excellent career field in its multifaceted applications and advancements for the kingdom of God, which include promoting brotherly love, displaying creational complexity, and reflecting the heart of the Creator. To begin with, brotherly love, it's very much a career field that's focused on the wellness of others. So, gene therapy takes amino acids that are in incorrect orders, which is what creates the disease, and they can be resequenced to create new proteins or the proteins that are lacking in the human body. So here is just a simplified picture of what happens. So here you have the corrected gene, which comes from the rearrangement of the amino acids, and the defective gene, which is then removed. It helps to terminate incorrect gene disorders, and by the removing of these sequences has saved millions of lives. In Romans 12:10, it says, "Love one another with brotherly affection, outdo one another by showing honor." This is a clear revenue for brotherly love, as the practitioners are able to commit their lives to a study that will in end change lives, displaying their love for others. In an article titled "Gene Therapy Restoring Health Professions," Dennis Sullivan and Susan Saladay state that on this understanding of biblical health, the role of the human healer is to imitate God in reversing the effects of the fall. In addition to this, genetic therapy also displays the complexity of creation. Gene therapy involves a detailed examination of gene sequences that simultaneously display the complexity of creation. Genes are made of the sequences, as I had said, and this is considered in science as a building block, and it displays such complexity that it really shows the handiwork of God, because even just in something so small that can go wrong, it can create a huge thing. And it's so microscopic, and yet it has such a huge effect and toll on people's lives. In Ecclesiastes 8:17, it says, "Then I saw the work of God, that man cannot find out the work that is done under the sun. However much man may toil in seeking, he will not find it out, even though a wise man claims to know, he cannot find it out." So that verse just exemplifies that no matter how much man can seek to find out these things that God has made, we'll never fully understand it. And that also relates to the complexity of those genes, because no matter how much they're studied, there's always going to be something new popping up, because God's just constantly working. Similarly, genetic therapy provides healing and restoration. It reflects God's heart, and it's the heart of the healer. So genetic therapy accelerates healing, like with the segmental bone defect. It can be used to accelerate the process of healing, and as I said before, terminate some diseases. God's heart for his people all throughout the Bible often looks like healing. So Jesus' miracles are a lot of times healing, whether it's the blind or just the sick. In Jeremiah 30:17, it says, "For I will restore health to you, and your wounds I will heal." So that's a promise or declaration from God that he will restore our health. And although as humans we're not able to exemplify this in any way on the level that God does, we are called to be stewards of the earth, and in so we are to take care of one another. And so in reflection of his heart to heal and as his heart as a nurturer, genetic therapy reflects that. All these aspects of genetic therapy come together to solidify it as a God-glorifying career field. It's a growing career field that, as I've said, cares for others. Through its applications, it displays brotherly love, the complexity of creation, and it reflects the heart of the healer. Its display for brotherly love comes from the practitioners that devote their lives to caring for others, as a reflection of how God calls us to be. The complexity of creation is seen in just its small aspects of the genes, and it reflects the heart of the healer because his intentions are for us to be healed. Now that you know more about the career field of genetic therapy, I'm sure it's clear it can be used to glorify God and advance the kingdom.